All right, so looks like you're done with part two. All right. On to part three. This time we're going to be going through something so interesting. We're going to be dealing with metrics this time round, and with metrics, it's a bit complicated. It's a bit more all over the place, if you know what I mean. So, to be authentic, to be real, I'm going to face you off with the facts. The fact is, this is the first time I'm actually building this application full force the way you're seeing it right now. And secondly, we're definitely going to now start running into some errors. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us actually dive into the project. So, if you guys are enjoying so far, please do not forget to hit the like and also subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Great. So I was doing a bit of playing around with some items, especially within the navigation link, because I keep on wondering what it is that is causing this system to have very weird rhythm. Let me show you what I mean. If I go to my clients list over here, let's say for example, right? This is where I am right now. If I come and click on this banks area, then it will work, all right? But if I come and click on, let's say, create client, and then I try to drop down banks, it doesn't work. So that there is a problem right there. And of course, I don't like it when this hashtag pops up over here. So instead of the hashtag, we're definitely going to come in here and do JavaScript void. So JavaScript :void, and then we'll do a 0 inside here like that. So this will definitely work regardless. So like, let's say if I go to the clients list, if I click on banks, it works, right? If I go to create bank, it works. But then if I click back over here, it doesn't work. If I click on this, it doesn't work. So there's a few things that I'm just wondering, like, what is it that's causing this shakeup? Because I don't get how this is a real thing. This is a real problem. And then on top of that, I'm also still looking at various places where I have my JavaScript ready and set, and I'm still not understanding where these errors are indeed coming from. But, regardless of the situation, we're just going to leave it alone for now. And then we are going to move on forward. We see what it is that we can do about our current situation and where we have indeed reached. So, in terms of where we've reached so far, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to take some time, okay, and go in to your terminal, your coding area. And then just do this, Control N, okay? Just do Control N and then type in the commands as follows. All right, so if you don't have PA in your command line, then it's just definitely PHP artisan, okay? So we're going to do a few functions, right? We're going to make :seeder, all right? To make these seeders, we are going to go ahead and look at what it is that we're trying to seed. So I had the liberty of writing this down somewhere, and we said that we're going to be seeding banks, clients, suppliers, units, brands, product categories, products, purchases, and sales. So in order for us to proceed on like this, we are going to okay, I'm just going to leave this here for now, and then we're just going to go ahead, make seeder, and then these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seeders. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seeders, and then we're going to go one after another. So we start with the banks seeder, and we shouldn't be spacing them. Then we move on to the clients seeder. Then we move on to the suppliers seeder. Then we go on to the units seeder, and we shouldn't be spacing them. Then we move on to the brands seeder. Then we move on to the product categories seeder. Then we move on to the products seeder. Then we move on to the purchases seeder. Then we move on to the sales seeder. And if I've been typing so fast for you, then there's no point in, okay, there's no actual way I'm typing faster than you. I type 40 words per minute. So it's literally, I'm just literally one of the slowest coders in terms of typing speed. But if I have typed faster than you for some whatever reason, then you can go ahead and pause the video, even make it slow motion so that you can be able to follow along with this. So I'm just going to copy this, whatever it is that I've typed down over here, and then I'm going to come in here into the terminal and paste it inside the terminal. So inside the terminal, I'm just going to hit enter. Of course, now I'm using PHP version 8.4, and it's already having a few things here and there. But like this deprecated, I don't get all of these things. I think maybe I need to edit some stuff in these ini files or something like that. But we move regardless. So now that we've done that, we'll close this with saving, all right? And then we start dealing with all these different seeds. The first seeder is the banks, and for the banks, I'm going to be dealing with a version of an app that I built some time back, and I just need to get it and show you guys what it is that is there. So inside this application that I built some time back, there is a section for banks, and I'm just going to come in here and look for it. So it's inside database, migrations, and banks, which is indeed right, I believe it's right here somewhere. Right, there we go. And then I'm just going to come in here, take this all the way till here and copy it. And this is just all the banks that are available inside CBK, which is the Central Bank of Kenya. These are all the listed banks under CBK. And we can just move on and we paste that here. So it's inside banks. All we're just going to do here is paste it here. And then we're going to import this DB class. And we're importing it from facades. So don't make the mistake of bringing it in from attributes. We're just bringing it in from facades. Yeah, that's it. So eliminate support facades. That is where we get our DB class. We save that, and that's how we're going to roll. Now we move on to brands. With brands, it's a bit interesting because with brands, we have to actually deal with, you know, actual real brands, and I don't see myself using any fake brands or even any factories. So I had also prepared some items over here. So what we're just going to do here, we're just going to, I've just looked at some brands, and I'm just going to create a DB. So I'm just going to come in here and do DB, import that, coming in and do the table, brands, the brands table, and then we're going to insert the following. So insert the following. All right. So we have to start with the name. All right. And the name is, for this one, we're going to start with Nike. Of course, now we have the logo path, which is going to be logos/Nike.png, which we're going to allow later on. And then we have the created at and updated at, which is here. So created at, which will be now. All right. And then we have the updated at, which is also now. And then we're just going to put a comma here and a semicolon here. And we're going to create like about 4 more brands. So the next one is probably going to be, so this is logo path. And before we proceed on now, we think we're just going to, actually we just proceed on. So we have the Adidas, Apple, Samsung, Coca-Cola, and Sony, Tesla, Microsoft, and yeah, and Toyota. So we move, right? So we have Nike, we have Adidas, we have what? We have Apple, Samsung, so Adidas over here and Adidas over here. And we have Apple, we have Samsung, we have what? Coca-Cola. Yes, and this one, I'd like to keep this one as an underscore rather than, you know, all these different ones, that hyphenated. Then we have the next one, we will have, okay, actually, you know what? I'm just going to do this, yeah? We have Sony. We have, next one would be Tesla, Microsoft. So Tesla, Microsoft, Tata, and Toyota. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So those are the brands I will be working with. The reason why I want to work with these particular brands is because I've created the products, the products categories to, or rather the products themselves to follow and follow under a certain way to go about these particular products. So we have product categories, right? We have product categories, and in order for us to continue the product categories, I want us to deal with suppliers first. So I have suppliers, the supplier seeder, and I had something prepared on the side, of which will be made available to you, but you can proceed on to create your, you know, your seeder the way you feel like. I have created mine like this. So we'll start with the DB table suppliers right here like this. And then we'll go ahead and, you know, we'll call Safaricom. Then there's a contact at safaricom.co.ke. There's the address, the phone number, the registration, the tax ID, which will be probably P0123456789Q, something like that. And we'll just proceed on like that. If you want to proceed on and, you know, enable yourselves to actually create some seeds like this, what I'd advise is I'm going to open ChatGPT at the moment right now. And for this ChatGPT, what I'm going to come in here and do is I'm going to come into the project itself. I'm going to go to the migrations, right? This is the suppliers section. If I want to go and deal with clients, okay, I'm going to go ahead and deal with clients like so. Just go to clients, and then I'm going to come in here and copy everything that is in here. And then I'm going to come in here and paste this. And then I'm going to tell ChatGPT, please make for me seeders with, make for me a seeder generating, generating 20 clients with Kenyan names, and it should be a mix of, you know, businesses and individuals. A sample of a tax ID for an individual is A0106313990, and I'm just giving it like some basic values where it always starts with A and ends with any letter, whereas for business it is the same, but it always starts with P. Okay. All right. Now we've gotten to that point. I'm just giving it some metrics. You could have left it at this point over here where we say 20 clients, generating 20 clients with this, and then that everything is done. But what I want to do is I want to specialize in like making it a little bit more home feeling. So that's why I'm giving it all these metrics. And then I'll come in here and say for business registration, or for registration number, because I have a registration number column right here. For registration number, individuals have theirs starting with BN, while for businesses they start with and then I'm going to come in and do PVT hyphen. Boom. So I'm just going to give it, and that is, wait for it. Actually, in fact, let me maximize. So I think I'll take it like this, and I don't really need the Kenyan names, it seems. So I'm just going to go back to client Seeder. I'm going to paste this here, and yeah, so you can see factory is here, so I can just come in here and import it from Faker, like so. Faker factory create, and now this str is coming in from Illuminate support str, which is something that cannot be easily imported, because if you look at this, I'm just given options over here where we have you know, all of these things, yet we don't have the class for str to be importable, right? So it's a bit of a long-winded situation, which I don't want to deal with. So all in all, I just come in here and just say use Illuminate, and then support str, and that's all I have to do at that particular point. I think that's the only class I need to bring in, except for this DB table, which is coming in from facades. And that's how we go about that. So I'm just going to leave that one as that, and hopefully it works just as is. And yeah, we'll move on forward. So that's the client seeder. We also have the supplier seeder, which is already done. This one I already prepared for myself, but you can go ahead and use the same exact code or exact method to generate your seeders. I'm just going to go ahead and proceed on. So I'm going to be coding along ChatGPT for a long while at this point, and hopefully things will be solid as we move on forward. So all I'm just going to come in and do is generate a few more seeders and then just paste them in. So we have product category seeder, and for product category seeder, I've generated them together with the products. So I'm just going to show you real quick what it looks like. And we start here with DB table. So I'm just going to come in here and do that. All right, so we have the product categories right here. We have laptops, smartphones, tablets, accessories, PC components, networking equipment, and gaming consoles. And there's some few changes that we may also have to need to make inside our product categories table. And that is, inside our product categories table, we need to add text down here. And we'll come in here and just do a description. So that is our product categories table, and we'll move on forward. Now we'll come to the products table, or the product seeder per se. I'm tired. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired. And we'll come to the product seeder. We'll just go ahead and deal with it from this point here. Migrations, Seeders. I don't know why I opened migrations. All right, so we'll move on to the. This is very interesting. Why is my mind going so far? We're going to product seeder, and this is where we go. This is the product seeder, and essentially we're just having 5 particular products that we're selling. So we'll just come in here, illuminate support facades, and then you can see we have the Dell XPS 13, the Samsung Galaxy S23, the Apple iPad Pro 11, wireless earbuds, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080, which is a high-end graphics card for gaming and creativity. Then there's TP-Link Archer, which is a networking equipment, and then we have gaming consoles. So that goes hand in hand with our product categories right there inside our product category Seeder, as you can see. So I'm just going to save this, and I'm also going to save this. Let me just close all of these. Then we move on now to our units seeders. And for units, I'm just going to go ahead and generate another one. So for units, units are just general units of measurement of these products and how they are going to be stored or how they are usually kept or sold. And that's how we're going to go about it. So I'm just going to come in here, illuminate support facades, units. We have kilogram, we have gram, we have metric ton, liter, milliliter, piece, dozen, box, pack, centimeter, square meter, square foot, millimeter. That's how we're going to go. We're going to work around it. And yeah, that's how we go about that. So now the only things that we've not made are the purchases seeders and the sales seeder. And trust me, this one is a lot more complicated than you would imagine. Let me give an example. Let me give instances. Let me just give instances. So in order for me to give context, ladies and gentlemen, I have to ensure that you understand what it is that we're doing. We have our application right here. Let me just open it right now. We have our application right here. Okay. And these are just dummy figures. If we go ahead and, seed this data properly, we'll be able to, and then also edit a few items over here, we'll be able to understand where these amounts are coming from in its full self. Let me actually just clear the data from the dummy, and we'll actually do well to go about understanding what's going on here. So I'm just going to come in here, log in as the admin user. As the administrative user, we can proceed on and actually overview everything. So now once we start looking at things like, let's say, for example, you can see everything is at 0. So now if we come in here and you look at our purchases, all right? If we come in here and create a purchase, for example, right? If we come in here and create a purchase, we'll come in here, say we purchased these items from date, let's say date 10, right? Date 6 of October. And then our supplier is, well, I've not actually, you know what? Let me just see the data first, and then we'll be able to understand fully from explaining through the application what it is that we're intending to do. So let's actually move a little bit faster. So when we're looking at purchases, what we want to do here is, first of all, we want to declare a date. Let's open the purchases table so that we can actually see it. We can see we have a supplier ID and a purchase date. Okay. So in order for us to set this on first, it is indeed imperative that we declare our purchase IDs first. Okay. So we need to declare our purchase IDs first, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to put them in an array, right? And then we also have to declare our purchase dates. And the purchase dates I plan on putting is maybe 3 dates from September, 3 days from October, 3 dates from November, maybe 5 even. So I'll come in here and say And this is how we're going to lay them down. So this is 2024. So we'll start with September 09, and then we'll do maybe say 5th, we'll do 15th, and then we'll do 22nd. Okay. Then we'll do maybe another 22nd, and then another 28th, and then 30. This is September, so we'll just do 30th, right? Then we'll move on to October, of which I'll just copy these down. And then I will come and change these to 10, copy these down, and change these to 11. And that's how we go about that, okay? So we have a mix of all these different dates from September all the way till the end of November. And maybe I'd want to add one over here for October, maybe one on 31st, right? So those are our purchase dates. So the next thing we need to look at after our purchase dates is iteration through these purchase dates while we create our purchases, all right? So we'll come in here and say for each, and for us to do for each, all right? We'll do for each, and then we'll come and say purchase dates as dates, okay? And then what we'll just come in here and do is we'll first of all come and say the purchase ID, all right, is equal to, and this is where it gets interesting, because whenever we're creating purchases, we need to get the ID after creating the purchases. So this DB, most people will think that it doesn't suffice, but it does. It actually works. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in here and say DB table, all right? And then I'll come in here and say purchases. And then I will come in here and take a function. And I'm just going to close this so that we can be able to see it a bit more clearly from the center. We'll come in here and say insert get ID. All right. Yeah, so we'll insert and then get the ID afterwards, right? So that's what gets stored. So this insert a new record and then get the value of the primary key means that this primary key is going to be stored within this purchase ID. And then that's when we can start by doing things like maybe say supplier ID. And now the supplier ID is a random value, which is between 1 and the count of the suppliers. So I'm just going to come in here and do supplier all right? So that's the random value there. Then we move on to the purchase date. And the purchase date is going to be equivalent to this date, okay? Then after that, we're going to come in and do created at and updated at. And that's how we work around that particular. That's the first step. That's the first step. Of course, we also need to come in here and say the purchase IDs, all right, which is an array, we need to push into the array. So in order for us to push into the array, there's two ways we can go about it. We can either use this, come and say purchase IDs is equal, purchase IDs, and then put that there, and then is equal to purchase ID, like so. The second way is to do an array push, all right? And then we put, given the array, which is purchase IDs, and then we push with the purchase ID. And that's how we go about that. So these two work, and I think this one is the most commonly used by most people who have been in PHP for a very long time, I guess. Then we go ahead and now we start doing things like products is equal to product all. And this is where things get a bit more juicy. All right. So how we go about this is we have the product, and we need to import this as a model. Then we'll come in and say for each of the purchase IDs that we've collected, okay, and we'll say as purchase ID. Can we say purchase ID? Or let's just say ID, all right? And then after we've collected all those purchase IDs, we also need to do another for each loop. So this is the idea, all right? We are interlinking the products and the purchases. So there's supposed to be an I and a J, our I being the purchase IDs and a J, and the J's being the the products, right? So for each products as product, okay? And we're taking all the products. We're taking all the products, all right? And then we're doing this. We'll just do DB table, all right? And then we'll come in here and say this table is supposed to be the one that is interlinking the products and the purchases, which is the product purchase table, I believe. Then I'm just monitoring my OBS over here. It's giving a bit of trouble here and there, but you know, at least we move regardless. So we insert. So we'll insert, and what we'll insert here is the product ID being equivalent to the product ID that we pass in here. So product ID. Like so. The next thing is the purchase ID. So I'm just going to come in here and run this like this. And the purchase ID in this situation is this ID that has been passed in over here. All right. Then the next thing we'll do is the quantity. Okay. And for this quantity, we'll randomize. All right. The randomize variable will be between maybe say the 2 and maybe 1,000 or 100, give or take. Then after that, we'll come and see and use the unit price of this purchase. And the unit price of this purchase will be another random value, and the random value will be a value between the purchase price and the selling price that has been documented by this product. So we'll come in here and just say product purchase price. That's the minimum, and then we'll have the product sale or selling. Was it sale price? I believe that was it. Yeah, I think it was sale price. Yeah, it must have been sale price. So product purchase price and product sale price. And given that now we've completed that, the next thing we need to do is add the created at and updated at down here. And then we'll close this up. So given this is essentially what we'll need to do in terms of, actually I'm just going to make it 1,000 here as the max. And then the minimum, I'm going to put 20. So this is essentially how we go about the purchases. We would say that the same thing goes for the sales, but it's a bit more complicated than that for the sales. Because for the sales, we'll also have to account for the fact that we cannot sell what we do not have, okay? So that's where the beauty lies within this particular project. It's really encompassing and engaging for you to actually make logical sense of whether or not you're creating the right data and the right seeds so that you can be able to evaluate in its whole entirety what is it that you're supposed to be doing at that particular point. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's bring this all together. Let's culminate all of this together. All right. So for this sales seeder, all right, we'll also start with our sale dates. All right. So we'll start the same exact way that we started within our purchases. So we'll have the sale IDs, all right, which is equal to an empty array. And then we'll start again with going to the sale dates, I believe, sale dates. Being equal to, now we'll take the dates that we had initially over here. Well, the purchases, I keep on losing focus on these particular items. So we'll just come in and take some of these. So I'm just going to come in here and put them here. Sales dates. I'll just delete some few, maybe two of these, one of these, and maybe one of these, and maybe this as well. So yeah, we have our sale dates right there. We're going to close off with a semicolon, and then we're going to begin. Okay, so when we're dealing with the sale IDs, all right, so this is what we're going to be doing. We'll come in here and do sale IDs being equal to, well, that, okay? And then essentially, because we're trying to push these items into the sale IDs, in terms of whatever it is that we are pushing, I like to try and do this for each sales dates. So sale dates as dates, and then at last I've remembered to hit the escape button before hitting tab. That will take another variable that I didn't want to be there. And then we'll start with now products. And I'll start with products because it's very essential. Let me just go over this shortly, and I'll explain why I'm starting to use eloquent in this situation. So eloquent pointers will enable me to actually go into the product and the sale model and actually pick out whatever it is that has been calculated prior. So I'm going to come in here and go to sale, right, is equal to new sale, like so, okay? That's how I'm going to work this out. And then we'll come in here and do things like sale client ID, being equal to the client ID. So the client ID in this situation would be a random. So a random between 1 and the maximum, which is the count of clients, right? All right, and then we'll save that, right? So, and then of course, because we've not imported this properly, we'll just import it like that. And then we'll move on forward to the sale date, all right? So sale date be equal to, now maybe say this date, right? And then of course now we have our created and updated, which I'll just come and copy from here. I actually have it in my clipboard, right? So I think I'll just come and do Windows V and just that. So this one will be replaced by this one. So I'll just come and do this and do the same here. So sale created that, and I'll just close this, and then is equal to now. Sale updated that is equal to now, and close off with semicolons right now. So I'll just leave them like that for now. Oh, actually, in fact, we actually don't need this because, you know, whenever we're using Eloquent, we just need to save the sale. So sale save. And then after saving, that's when we'll start doing our pushes. So our pushes will come in as sale IDs, and will be equal to the sale ID, like so. All right, and then we move further. Now we'll just do a for each loop here. For each, and then we'll come and say products, all right, as product. And then we'll say if, now this is where it gets special, right? Normally I would just go ahead and say, maybe say the sale products, all right? And then I'll come and say attach. Okay, that's because I've used this, all right? So now we'll come in here and say sale products attach, and then we'll come and say the product ID. Okay, we'll say the product ID, and then we'll come in here and pass in the extra values. The extra values being quantity, which is now random between maybe say what could be 1 and of course the product inventory balance. All right, so product, and then we'll take inventory balance. Now I've just realized that we may have missed it, so I'm just going to go into my app and models, and then I'm going to go to products. Inside products, I have this variable over here, get inventory balance attribute, which takes the total purchase count and the total sale count. The total purchase count and the total sale count are two attributes that I've also created over here in this system, where we are coming in and saying we get the total purchase count, and then we'll take the amount being 0, and then we'll put this in a for each loop while adding the quantity of this particular purchase using the pivot, and then we'll return the amount. So these two functions right here, you can take your time and actually denote them in case we haven't done them just yet. But if we've done them, then these here they are. I believe if I come in reverse, the only thing that we did was probably do it as total sale value and total purchase value. But then I changed them into count instead of value, because value means the price, the value of the product itself, value of the products themselves when we have sold or when we've bought. So that's how it works. All right. So we'll move back to the sales seeder, and yeah, just for quantity, there we go. And then when we come back here into the unit price, we will actually take a random, but this time the random will be between the purchase price and the sale price. But then this time what we want to do here is I want to take the purchase price. So I'll take the product purchase price. And then multiply it by 0.8. This is reducing it by 20%. So that we can get a bit of a play around within our data. And then I'll come in here and paste this here as well. And then this one will be the sale price. And then this one I will increase by 20%. So this will be multiplied by 1.2. And that's how we go about all these different things. So now this is the main issue right here. What if there are no products to sell? And for there not to be any products to sell, then the total inventory balance must be 0. And you cannot have a negative inventory balance. Otherwise, your system is cracked. So this is what we're going to do. All right. We're going to come in here and do an if statement. And this if statement will come and say if the product inventory balance is less than or equal to 10, all right, then continue. That's all I have to say at this particular point. And then you can see we're only dealing with one and the product inventory balance at this particular point. Actually, what I would want to do here is, even if it's less than 1, I'm not even dealing with 10. If it's less than 1, then just sort of, right? And then another if statement I want to put down here is to deal with the total quantity of these products being nil, meaning that there's no item that has been added. Meaning that there's no item that has been added with a quantity of 1. All right. So all the items that have been added into this might be 0. This might be a price, but it's still that the quantity is 0. So if the quantity is 0, then there's no need for it to be there. So we'll come in here and give another if statement. And then I'll come in here and say if the sale total quantity, right? And total quantity is another item that we've created in our model, over here, in our model over here. So if we check our model, we created this total amount attribute, and this is essentially what we're going to be using. So there's total amount, okay? And then there's total quantity. So in terms of total amount, we have this here. Total quantity is something we've not created. So I'm just going to come in here and create total quantity. In order for us to create total quantity, I'm just going to come in here and do total quantity. And then we are going to get rid of the unit price. We're not going to do total unit price because it's so illogical to deal with it whenever we're dealing with multiple different products at different prices. There's no need to actually get the mean, mode, or median for the unit price in particular sales, right? So what I'm going to come in here is do product pivot quantity, and that's essentially what we're going to come in here and do. We're going to sum this up in short, all right? So that is how we go about this. So this is the cached function that we were talking about in the previous video, and that's essentially what we're going to be using in this particular situation. So now let's go back to our sales seeder, and then we'll say if the sale total quantity is less than or equal to 0, so which means it's less than 1, all right? Then what I'm going to come in here and do is sale products, all right? So I'll come in here to sale products detach, and I could do like maybe say this, all right? Or I'll just come in here and say, yeah, I'll just do detach for now, all right? And then we'll come in here and do sale delete. Great. All right, so once that is done, I believe now our sales and our purchases are ready to be exploited. So now we'll go back to our database seeder, and then we will comment this out. We'll comment that out. Then we'll move on forward and deal with it like this. There's a call function inside our seeder right here, all right? If we come inside our seeder, we have a function call, okay? And I think here it is, right? So this function call, it runs a seeder class, and you can put in an array, you can put in whatever it is that you want. So if we can do this, if we can do this call, all right? And then I'll put an array of all these classes in order. And in the order that I situated them for, it's supposed to be starting with banks, seeder, class, and then we'll move on to the clients seeder. Class. And I don't understand why every time I miss the colon and get the semicolon instead. We have the suppliers, Seeder class. We have the units, Seeder class. We have the brands, Seeder class. We have the products categories, Seeder class. We have products, Seeder class. And then we also have the purchases, Seeder class. And then we also have the sales, Seeder class. I'll just put a comma there, and then we put a semicolon here, and we're good to go. Just get rid of some spaces, get rid of all of this, which we don't need. And yeah, we are good to go. So now I'm just going to close all of these. Yeah, and then now we run our migrations. So in order for us to run our migrations, just do PHP artisan migrate fresh :seed. For me, I'm just going to do PAMFS, and it's going to run. So it's dropping all the tables, running all the migrations, and seeding everything. But looks like there's a few things that we needed to change. So inside our seeders, there's a bank seeder, and I'm sure it must be something to do with one of the columns. And I'm pretty sure this one's for the bank code. I was supposed to put them as sort code, like so. And then there's something else also I've just remembered. In our units table, we did not have symbol. So we're going to come in here into our migrations, and we're going to come in here and craft our units. What we're going to call this is, we're going to come in here. Timestamps, of course, needs to be down. Then over here, we're going to have symbol. All right. And then we'll save that. And then there's a time we also did some adding of constraints, like adding constraints to orders table, quotations table, and invoices table. What we're going to do here is, I'm just going to come in here and cut this. And then inside our orders, so we go to our orders table. So this is the orders table. The orders table is over here. And I'm just going to come in here and paste this. And I'm just going to get rid of this default value right here. And now, given that that is there, we can delete this, delete our constraint migration. But in a case where we have our application into migration, we've added our application to our production, sorry, not migration, production, then we need to constantly be using these kinds of tables, these extra migrations, to help us get things done. So I'm just going to delete from here, and then I'm going to put it inside our quotations table. So our quotations table is here, and we're going to paste this here, and that's that. Then we have the constraints to invoices table. We're just going to cut this, delete this, and then we go to our invoices table. And then we'll come and put the invoices date right there and put our semicolon and finish it off there. So yeah, product quotation, I think orders was okay. So I'll just drag this up and save that. We have the quotations, save that. We have everything. So product quotations, orders, and invoices is all that. The invoices is all that we were actually trying to sort out at this particular point or this particular juncture. So now we move, and I'm just going to close all of these, and then we are going to migrate this again. Yep. So everything is run. Everything is good. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth, the moment we've been waiting for. If we go to our overview, we will definitely have to log in again. And I don't know if I'm supposed to zoom this one as well. I think this one, being the browser, it can probably be visible a little bit better. So I'm just going to zoom out. And yeah, we have our total revenue right here, which is 6,317,430,041. And so that is in Kenyan shillings. We have our sales count over here. And what we're supposed to be having in our sales count, all right? So we'll just go back to our views. We'll go to Livewire. We'll go to our account summary. And I did this. I created here sales count, all right? So this sales count is supposed to be inside our account summary. But yeah. And in our account summary is inside app, Livewire, account summary. All right, so we definitely have our sales count, right? Which is supposed to be here. But then now when we look at our account summary right here, there's a bit of a situation, okay? Our sales count is supposed to be not supposed to be equal to our product total sale value. It's supposed to be plus equals like that. And now once we do that, of course, we'll now get a value that is actually realistic. So total sale value, it's not supposed to actually be total sale value, is it? Because if we go back to our product model, it's supposed to be total sale count. Total sale count, yeah? So I'm just going to come in here and change value to count. And once we do that, we have this, so 67,958 items, and then we'll come in here and number format it, but don't add a 2 at the end because we do not need the 2 at the end. So now that is how we go about this, and then we have 67,958 items that have been sold. And in order for us to see that, we just come in here and add up, every single piece of item that we've sold over here. So for us to do that, I'm just going to come in here into sales index, all right? And then I'm going to come in here and add another one, another column. So this will be number of items or number of units sold. Or let's just say units, NO, right? NO of units sold. And we'll keep it like that, and then we'll add another TD over here. So we have sales total amount, sale total amount. Since we're passing in a the sale variable over here, or the sale model over here, let's check out the sales model. We see what we can do here. So we have total quantity, all right? So instead of total amount, we'll use total quantity. And when we refresh, we can see number of units sold. And then over here, we'll just get rid of this KES. And then we'll also get rid of the decimal point. And boom, we have everything here. Number of units sold, and everything is here. Great, this is actually quite nice. And at the end of the day, we also want to put in a TD that is down here. So another TR over here. All right, and then our TDs are going to be the same number as what we have over here. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 TDs. So I'm just going to come in here and, do TD multiplied by 7. And then we'll just put over here as a strong. And then we'll say totals in capital. And then where we have our number of units sold, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, number of units sold. We'll come in here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where number of units sold is. And then we'll just come in here and say what? We'll just come and sum the sales, right? So we'll come and take the sale, then we'll say sum. We actually can do this, yeah? So we can say sum, and then we'll run a function here, all right? And this function will run in the actually sale, maybe say products, right? Then we'll come in here and say sum with the function of product. Then we'll bring it down here, and then we'll say return. We can actually return the products. No, we're actually running sales, right? Sales as sale. So over here, we won't take sale, but we'll take sales. Then we'll sum with the sale. Then we'll come in here and return sale total amount. And that's how we do that. And that's how we get our number down here. But this is not total amount. It's supposed to be total quantity. And then in return, I'm just going to wrap this all inside the number format. Boom. So if we go back to our overview over here, 67,958 is the same number that we're getting down here, 67,958. I don't think we need to even like do anything much. I'll just come in here and grab this again. And then we'll put it inside a strong. And then inside the strong, we'll put it like that. And then after that, we will now come in and calculate the total amount right down here. So total amount is the next column. So we'll definitely come in and just do the same thing right here. And then instead of the total quantity, we'll do total amount, like so. And we'll just put in a KES right there. So this in total is coming to 6,317,430,041. And that's how we go about that in particular. So that's how we collect our metrics for most of the stuff that we're dealing with over here. So we have total sale count over here. Stock value will be inventory balance multiplied by product purchase price, of which that is for every single product that is there. So yeah, if we come in here into our overview, we can see our stock value is not coming through. And the reason for that is because of this also. So now once we've done that, we can see our stock value will be 240,000. Yeah. So that's essentially how we'll go about dealing with all of those. If we come in here and do the exact same thing that we did with this to our purchases, then we probably will be getting a rough figure or a rough estimate as to why our inventory value is like that. So we'll just come in here and replace sales with purchases. So I'll come in here and do sale and replace it with purchase, and then replace everything. There's a high probability that some of these items will not come through, like this one over here. And the reason for that is also because for here, for total amount, we'll say number of units bought. Number of units bought. And over here for total amount, we also have to have total quantity. And then we need to get rid of this KES. We need to get rid of the 2. And then we save. And of course, we're going to see a lot of zeros. And that's because the same thing that we did inside sales, inside our sales model, where we created this total quantity attribute right here, is the same thing we need to be doing inside our purchases. So I'm going to come in here under total amount. I'm going to paste the exact same function. I'm not going to change a single thing, and it's going to work. Right, so we have this 67,691, and then we also have the total, which is 64,02,001,430. Okay, and then we'll look at the sales, and then we have here minus 63,17,430,041, and we can see we have 84,571,389. So that is like total purchases, total sales, and then we still have inventory value of 240,000. So it's a fairly decent profit in terms of like how we've calculated those items. We bought how many items? We bought 67,961 items, and we sold a total of 67,958. So 67,958 against 67,961. So there's only 3 units remaining. There's actually legit 3 units of something remaining. So the 3 units of that particular something remaining, we could actually check them out inside our sales list. And that's the next thing that we want to sort out, which is these items over here displaying our very nice and lovely details. So now this is where we close off, and I tell you why it is that we did list groups inside this applications, product search and everything. So until we get onto the next section, which is, I'm going to split this into maybe hours sections. I'm going to actually split this to hour sections. So until we proceed on to understanding like the basics, the little itty bitties, and why it is that we got into, getting these items like the way they are right now. Let me just show you again. So we have these different items. We have a search bar over here. So I'll say Dell XPS 13, 5 kilogram. So this is essentially a list group that we have over here that is being displayed. Okay. And the reason why we have this list group right now is for a very specific reason of customization. So until the next episode, ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed on to, culture up this application and show you guys what it means when we actually put in list groups inside this application. So until that point, I guess I will see you guys later. I don't know how to close off this video, honestly. I actually don't know how to close off this video. But thank you for the support. I've seen the last videos. I've actually tried as much as I can to zoom in to the code from where I was last time. I saw the very first comment complaining about the size of the code, but I hope it has been bearable. I hope most of whatever it is that we've coded so far is been amazing. And until we see each other in the next episode or in the next section, I'm not sure whether or not I'll combine this into the next video. Just contemplate on coding up till where we've reached, and then we will move on forward steadily. Until we meet again, ladies and gentlemen, please do indeed stay safe, and as always, God bless you all.